what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today I'm back with another video here. The Flyers bounce back. They erased the absolute horrific, horrid, terrible game on Saturday, the 7-0 loss to Tampa Bay, with a 3-2 win against the San Jose Sharks. This was not easy. The Sharks are not a put-away team. Clearly, they obviously, they're playing for pride, and that's kind of how teams, in the toilet kind of play towards the end of the year. And Flyers needed this one. And I think the biggest thing out of this game is not the fact that they just win, but three guys who hadn't scored in a long time get goals. And you needed that. Again, it's really important with, obviously the Flyers, being injured, right, with multiple defensemen out. You're going to kind of have to outscore your problems a little bit here, right? And they did that tonight. Thankfully, Urson was good. They at least defended San Jose in a way that, they at least were able to, let me think of how I want to word this. They at least made it where, the Sharks obviously had their chances, but it wasn't like Urson was completely held out to dry. There were some times in this game where it felt that way, but the Flyers responded, and they had multiple chances in the offensive end or anything. And I think the biggest thing out of this one is you get the 2 points, right? I mean, that's huge. But again, for some of the guys that hadn't necessarily been scoring, Tippett had 1 goal in his last 9, Frost had 0 in his last 11, Cates had 1 goal in his last 14, Paling with 1 in his last 12, Couturier with 0 in his last 12, and Farabee 1 in his last 18. Your 3 goal scorers tonight: Joel Farabee, Morgan Frost, Owen Tippett. That's 3 guys on this list. Cates, Paling, Couturier are the other 3 that did not score. Again, I've mentioned the whole thing about the whole thing about Cates' offense and how long that's going to maybe take for them to kind of get going. I don't know how long they're going to wait with that, and we'll see. But again, nevertheless, 2 points is 2 points. So the lines in this one, they actually go 12-6. Forrester, Lawton, Tippett, Cates, Paling, Hathaway, Gurianov, Couturier, Konechny, Farabee, Frost, Brink. I actually really like this lineup. Genuinely, again, because you go the Cates, Paling, Hathaway line, that's been good. You can't really break that up right now. I mean, you probably could, but I don't see the sense for the Flyers in really doing that. Forrester with Lawton and Tippett, that's a good line. You have, Farabee with Frost and Brink. Like, that's another one where, like Farabee, Frost, and Brink is one that I didn't necessarily think Brink was that good early on, but I will say he did get better throughout the game. And I do think, the Flyers at least were able to kind of mesh up these lines together. I thought Gurianov had some speed. Konechny was, I don't want to say Konechny was off tonight, but there were some plays that were like, what are you doing? Coots is obviously fighting it a little bit here. And then Forrester, Lawton, Tippett, I like that line in general. The lines that I tweeted the other day that I wanted to see were kind of similar, kind of not really. I had Tippett, Frost, Konechny, Farabee, Coots, Forrester, Paling, Lawton, Brink, Gurianov, Cates, and Hathaway. So, I was a little bit close with some of them, specifically the I wasn't really close with any of them, never mind. But anyway, I digress. It doesn't necessarily matter. Again, they won this game. These were the lines, and I don't know if they'll stick with this. I did like the D pairs: York, Sanheim, Stahl, Adder, Zamula, Johnson. I thought Johnson had a good game. York and Sanheim. York looked really good. York has looked really good the past couple of games. He's been so good on the penalty kill. We'll talk about that, though, and then Urson wasn't in that. So first period ends 1-1. Flyers had a really good first 5, 6, 7-ish minutes, and the rest was really all San Jose. Unfortunate goal against. We'll get there, though. So Flyers get a power play. Couple of looks. Farabee would score. Beautiful pass by Frost. Oh, my God. And it's the little things with Frost that I had said this over and over and over again. Frost he makes so many of those little plays in the small areas of the ice, and he has so much creativity that he can do things like this, and it stretch the ice up just like that to get it to a guy like Farabee. He makes no mistake. Flyers lead 1-0. Before we get a little bit of a roughing call, Sharks had some pressure. Flyers looked a little off. I was like, I kept tweeting throughout the game. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna win this game, right? Like, they're definitely gonna lose this one. Like that was how it looked. It looked like it was gonna be one of those backbreaker games to a team where you absolutely need points, and thankfully they got it. San Jose gets a power play. Flyers, they really killed that well, and then for like the first minute, and then the Sharks had a couple chances. Tippett had a chance in the slot. Rebound was missed, and then there was a penalty. It was a hold on Forster. Bad penalty, and they tie it. It just a really bad deflection as well. Stahl was a little out of positioning on that, and I don't think he necessarily is one you can blame for that because the pass deflected, and it was literally went right on to Zadina Sadiq. He scores in tight. And York ended up getting interfered with before that. They didn't call it. So we go into the second, tied 1-1. Flyers get a power play. They had chances galore on the power play tonight, just couldn't finish. I actually liked the setup. Konechny, they had Tippett. They basically had a power play goal. It was a delayed penalty, but it was 6-on-5. So you can, we can count that as a power play goal, right? Flyers, again, they get a power play. They had a couple chances there. Then the Sharks get one. Adder had a chance shorthanded. Sharks hit the post and tight. Then the Flyers get a power play. And they score 2-1. Frost, again, no goals in his last 11. And he finally pots one, his 10th of the season. For a guy like Frost, who obviously missed a ton of time in the beginning of the season, he's really worked his way back into being a, I don't want to say he's not a notable guy, but at least being a notable guy on the stat sheet. Currently, with the Flyers and their points, it hasn't been updated yet on the NHL.com. But Frost had, I believe, 2 points tonight? Yeah, 2 points, a goal, and an assist. So he will now be 6th on the team in points with 33. So good to see. And again, he gets his 10th goal. It's little things like that. Like, it's a slam dunk. It's slam dunk at the side of the net. Flyers didn't necessarily draw that one up, and it deflected right to him, and he just he buried it, thankfully, and get the goal. And the Flyers get the lead, but they give it right back. Zadina would score, and it was a couple of things where they actually didn't really. They just clogged the middle of the ice on the penalty kill for so long, and it killed them because Konechny was kind of circling around, and it opened up the ice, and they got the seam passes. They had 2 seam passes through. Zadina would score in tight 2-2. Brink hit the post. Lawton had a chance at the side of the net. They had a multiple scramble. Konechny had 2 of them. York had one that went wide. Konechny hit the post, and then we go to the third period and we're tied. It's like there's no way that the Flyers are going to lose this game at this point because they're just dominating here. And it was all Sharks early. Really nice save on Barabanov. If he scores there, I think the Flyers lose this game. And then that's not a joke. I mean, it did not look good for a little bit early in the third period. Zabula had a shot in the high slot. Frostline had a good shift, and then Tippett scores. Finally. He has looked so off since the Stadium Series. And I was really, really hoping that a game like tonight would be the night where, A, they get a win, and specific guys, like I talked about at the beginning of the video, score and get points and just have a game, right? Because it's a confidence builder. When you're able to, guys like Frost with 2 points, and then Tippett scores, it's like, all right. Like Tippett last game against Tampa, I mean, at this point it was 5-6-0, but he had a glorious 3-on-1 chance. And if that's, 2-3 weeks ago, Owen Tippett, he's ripping that high glove. Well, he passes it, and the Flyers didn't even get a shot off. So it's like, it's little things like that to me where it's like, all right, he's fighting it a little bit. And I think a lot of guys are. Like Konechny, it's been a bit for TK. Coots obviously hasn't scored. Palin, Cates, right? So to get a win like this and, to have a really good, again, bounce back win after Saturday and that absolute debacle, that's really good to see. And as for the standings, they got a little bit of help tonight. The Red Wings did lose, so if you're looking at the Metropolitan standings, and we'll break down the wild card in a minute, Flyers are 4 points above the Islanders. Islanders have 2 games in hand. They did lose last night. They were on a 6-game winning streak. They lost last night 3-0 to the LA Kings. So 66 games played for the Flyers. They have 16 left. Again, 76 points. Islanders 64, 72. Washington has 69 with 63. Devils have 66. I think you could pretty much say the Devils and the Penguins are toast at this point. Really, it's just Washington kind of hanging on by a thread, but they have a couple games in hand. 3 games in hand on the Flyers, 7 points back. And like I said, the Islanders are kind of right there on the Flyers' tail. That's in the Metro. When you look at the wild card, similar thing, top 3, Rangers, Canes, Flyers, and then Tampa has 74. Islanders have 72, and the Red Wings have 72. Red Wings lost tonight 7-2 to Buffalo. They're on a 6-game losing streak. They're 4-6 in their last 10. And Islanders, again, they've been rolling a little bit as well. So it's going to be tight, and that's why a win tonight is huge, especially with the absolute gauntlet of a schedule that the Flyers have, which I don't think they're going to do as terrible as everyone is kind of making it out to be here. When you look at the schedule, and again, the Flyers' next couple of games, Toronto, Boston, Toronto, Carolina, Boston, Florida, and the Rangers. That's, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 games right there. That's not it's not ideal. I mean, I'm hoping, you can win Thursday, maybe steal a point. You have to win at least one of the Bruins games. If you can steal a point, maybe get 3 or 4 in that set or whatever. Leafs again, Toronto's beatable. Carolina's beatable. That'll be a tough one with, the additions of who they got as well. They've beaten Florida this year. They've played really tight with the Rangers. I said this before, so we'll see how it goes. Again, you have to take it on a game-by-game basis because this team's banged up. Anything could really be changing. And, the power play hopefully can help them a little bit in the stretch. I don't know if they'll be able to get something, but if they can at least get a little bump from their power play, that would be nice. I don't know if it's going to come, though, because the power play's had a really tough time getting it going. So that might be a stretch. But when you're looking at the schedule, there's definitely a couple wins that I see here. I can't see them losing every single one of these games or all of them or whatever. So we'll see. Should be interesting. Thanks, everybody, again, for all the support as always. My name is Chris, and I'll talk to you all again soon.